Studying ancient Eastern wisdom helps unlock the door to thinking, broaden horizons, and add another dimension to problem solving. It allows us to apply different wisdoms in handling various relationships and situations in reality. By combining the wisdom of the East and the West, one can excel in strategic planning and surpass others. Today, I'm planning to talk to you all about some speculations and truths regarding the ancient Chinese Xia civilization. This video is based solely on historical records and clues from ancient texts, pieced together through deduction. It hasn't been confirmed and is purely a fanciful personal conjecture. You don't have to take it too seriously, just think of it as a story. Do you guys know how ancient China is divided into different eras? Do you really think the ancient Xia civilization was as backward as it's described in the history books? Have humans evolved or devolved? Speaking of myths, we have to mention the first of the 5 emperors, the Yellow Emperor. In a previous video, we talked about this figure, the leader of the ancient tribal alliance, Xianyuan Shi, who joined forces with the Yan Emperor to defeat Qiyu. According to historical records, he lived a very long life, over 100 years, and eventually transformed into a dragon. The historical accounts also mention that the Yellow Emperor forged the Xianyuan sword, stepped on the copper guarding the mountains, and engraved the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, and the transformation of mountains, rivers, and streams. He could even create a compass chariot before transforming into a dragon. All of this can be understood as later generations' worship of the Yellow Emperor. But for the people of the Stone Age, were these ideas too advanced? How could the Yellow Emperor, a king of the Stone Age, understand all of this? Moreover, the description of the great battle between the Yellow Emperor and Qiyu is also too exaggerated. The battle caused earthquakes, and even the weather could be influenced and assist, almost surpassing the intensity of modern warfare, as if they were using robots and laser weapons. For the ancient people who lacked exposure to such things, how could they imagine something they had never seen? In many historical books, we see the most commonly used terms for that era are ancient, prehistoric, and antiquity. These 3 terms may represent 3 different periods, and the Yellow Emperor lived in antiquity, which is what we refer to as the mythical era. However, according to some historical records, in antiquity, there were also prehistoric and ancient antiquity periods. The prehistoric period is also called the Age of Chaos, and the ancient antiquity period is known as the Age of Great Chaos. In some classics and myths, we can find some interesting terms: prehistoric sages, ancient antiquity deities, and ancient antiquity immortals. How should we interpret these terms? Could these people really have existed in ancient times? Were they gods or humans? If we think about it with our current logic, is it possible that these divine beings were actually advanced individuals with high technology? Or perhaps their civilization was fundamentally different from ours? Is it possible that as time progressed, our bodily functions continued to decline, and eventually, we were left with mere mortals? Why do so many historical records and stories, including the Old Testament, mention figures living over 100 or even several hundred years? In ancient Chinese records, the so-called 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors, where the 5 emperors refer to the Yellow Emperor and his 4 descendants, and the 3 sovereigns? In the 3-character classic, there's a line that goes, "The 3 powers are heaven, earth, and man." Here, the 3 powers refer to the 3 sovereigns, and they correspond to heaven's sovereign, earth's sovereign, and man's sovereign. In the historical records, there are numerous achievements attributed to 3 great deities. Fu Xi is known as the Emperor of Humans, credited with creating the 8 trigrams. Shinnon, the emperor of the earth, is said to have tasted countless herbs and penned the Shinnon Ben Chao Jing. However, when it comes to the emperor of the heavens, there has never been a unified account. In the book Feng Su Tong, the heavenly emperor is recorded as Noah, while in Taoist culture, the heavenly emperor is Fu Shi, the earth emperor is Noah, and the human emperor is Shinnon. The images of Fu Shi and Noah are depicted as having human heads and snake bodies, similar to many gods and myths from various countries around the world. During that period, gods rarely took on the appearance of ordinary humans. For example, Yan Emperor is depicted as a man with the head of an ox, Jiao looks like a monster, and Chan Jie, the creator of Chinese characters, is described as having 4 eyes. In the age of great antiquity, there is only one individual mentioned in legends, and that is Pangu. According to historical records, Pangu separated heaven and earth, lived for 18,000 years, had the head of a dragon and the body of a snake, and after his death, transformed into everything in the universe. However, in many readings, Pangu is portrayed as a robust human. Starting from Pangu, the image of gods began to evolve. A dragon-headed, snake-bodied individual created the world, while a human-headed, snake-bodied individual created all living beings. This might be the reason why the Chinese have referred to themselves as descendants of dragons since ancient times. The story of Noah mending the heavens is likely familiar to everyone. It all began when the pillar holding up the sky, Mount Buzhou, collapsed due to a collision with the water god Gong Gong, causing a hole in the sky and torrents of rain to pour down. Unable to bear the suffering of living beings, Noah gathered stones to mend the sky. Now, here's the question: what exactly was this pillar supporting the sky, and why didn't the entire sky collapse when it fell? Could we speculate that this pillar wasn't originally meant to support the sky, but rather, its true purpose was to connect heaven and earth? So, what is this heaven and earth? I have 2 bold speculations. The first guess is that people in the age of great antiquity and prehistoric times actually lived in a subterranean world, not on the surface of the earth. The Lacerda Files, an interview record about lizard people inside the earth from over 20 years ago, mentions that lizard people lived in a subterranean world. The image of a lizard person is strikingly similar to Pangu's, who, if he were a lizard person living in a subterranean world, would this explain these stories? While it's important to note that not everything in the Lacerda Files can be taken as fact, the documentation of lizard people has a long history. Combined with the ancient Chinese mythical stories I've shared with you before, it surprisingly offers some explanations. Of course, this is just speculation, and I'm not inclined to believe that I'm a descendant of these reptilian beings. As for the second speculation, I believe that heavens, in ancient times, might refer to the moon. Whether it's in ancient Chinese mythology, or in the records of other ancient civilizations, there's no mention of the moon. The Mayans could accurately calculate solar winds, but there's no record of the moon. The Sumerians documented all celestial bodies in the solar system, but conspicuously omitted any mention of the moon. So many scientists speculate that there might not have been a moon in ancient times. However, in the myths of ancient China, suddenly the moon appears, and it's possible that the moon was very, very close to us. Why do I say this? In recent years, through scientific research, it's been concluded that the moon moves a few centimeters away from the Earth every year. In other words, it's possible that the moon was very, very close to the Earth a long time ago. Many prehistoric great floods recorded in human history might be related to the moon. Just how close was the moon to the Earth? close enough that we could connect to it with a pillar. South close that our ancient ancestors might have believed the moon was the heavens. And even in ancient times when humans didn't have the capability to reach space, they already knew that the sky was round. At this point, many listeners may raise questions, saying if the moon was so close to the earth that even sunlight couldn't reach, how did plants grow, and how did life thrive? Well, that's a misconception. Through modern scientific verification, it's been concluded that plants grow more lushly in moonlight than in sunlight. Even wounds heal faster under moonlight. Of course, all of this is just speculation. Take it as listening to a story. With time passing and scientific progress, all the answers will gradually come to light and be revealed to everyone. Alright, that concludes this video. I'm Cyan. Welcome you all to keep following my channel. If you want to know more about ancient Chinese mythology, you can review the videos I have posted previously in my channel. Thank you. Don't miss out on this potentially life-changing opportunity. If you want to gain more insightful wisdom, go ahead and tap that like button, subscribe to our channel, and help us keep producing high-quality content. And don't forget to click the bell icon below the video, so you'll be the first to receive our latest updates, and never miss a chance to enhance yourself.